Oh, well, it is afternoon, I think, is it? Or not? I don't know. I've had a bit of a long trip, so chauffeured most of the way, thank goodness. I'm very honoured to be here today, and I've come because I want to support Terry, who's become a good friend to me over the years. We met a few years ago when I decided to fight for the Eagle Owls. I fight for every bird of prey. I have such a love for these birds, I'm not ashamed to stand here and say it. And what gives humans the right to decide what lives or dies? It's wrong. I work with these birds, I've worked with them for over 20 years. What we do is we go to schools. Education, it's got to be the key. Teaching children about these wonderful birds. They don't see them. They're not encouraged to go and see them. They're encouraged to sit in front of a computer all day while their parents go to the pub or whatever, I don't know. And, you know, when you take something like this to a school, the children's faces just light up. And when you tell them that something like this should be in this country, and is, or hopefully is somewhere, but I think we've all become very clever at not telling anybody where they are. This bird belongs here. Sorry, Icky. You know, it's got every right to be here, and I don't care what the RSPB say. This was a native species. It was hunted to extinction. And I don't believe that they can't fly here from Europe. I'm confident they can. And they should be left alone. And certainly in Bowland they haven't been left alone, and it makes me angry. I think this is the most beautiful place. I walked up there. How I did it, I don't know. But I was determined. And, you know, why when France, Germany, Holland, Denmark are reintroducing these birds, are we trying to wipe them out? What gives us the right to do it? And I'm very angry about the whole thing. I'm very angry about shooting, hunting, you name it. If it involves killing something, I'm angry about it. Life, you know, nature has a balance of its own. We shouldn't interfere in it. God forbid that Icky would pick up a gun and go and shoot one of our wonderful gamekeepers. I'd be mortified. And, you know, the other thing I've got to say, Terry said to me, don't pull any punches. Well, I won't, and I never have. When wildlife crime officers don't follow the law and do just what they think they will do, then what hope is there for these birds? I am very lucky. I've got a wonderful wildlife crime officer. He hates hunting, he hates shooting, and I won't tell you what he says. He swears like a trooper. He loves birds of prey, and that's how it should be. No one should be doing that job if they don't care for what they're supposed to be protecting. And of course, the other sad fact about wildlife crime officers is they're only part-time, they're policemen, and wildlife crime doesn't take priority, which again is wrong. I'm sure we all know that the government couldn't give two hoots, sorry about that, about our wildlife. And we have shown the government what we think, and I think it's come as a bit of a shock to them. We must not give up fighting. We've got to keep fighting for these birds, for any wildlife. It belongs here, it gives people pleasure. And this, you know, this is not a threat. This bird lives mainly on rabbit in the wild. Well, rabbits are taking over the world. You know, for goodness sake. You getting a bit stressed, Dick? He says, yeah, you're a bit loud, Mum. So we've come up from Oxfordshire, and Terry said, bring an eagle owl, so I always do what Terry says. Yeah, be careful, don't ask me for too much. But I always remember the first time I met Terry. I drove up, I stayed up here for a few days.
You drove up illegally?
Yes, we went up illegally, didn't we, Terry? I was terrified. And Terry said to me, don't worry, they won't know who it is. I said, Chrissie's Owls is written all over my vehicle, Terry. Yeah, we saw a bunch of shooters, and the steering wheel was sort of trying to get me over towards them, you know, but I didn't want to get any blood on my car. And when I arrived at Terry's house, we'd had this campaign going to save and protect the eagle owls up here. The first thing Terry told me when I walked through the door was that Richard Benyon, bless his soul, who'd only rung me a day or two before, very worried about his staff getting all this flack from angry, you know, raptor lovers. Tough, I say. Richard, excuse me a minute. Thank you. I said no bat impressions today. That Richard Benyon had decided there would be no cull of eagle owls. And that made my day. So, we've got to keep fighting. We've got to fight for the Hen Harrier, although it's almost too late. But if we don't go away, if we keep persevering, we will win in the end. I'm sure we will. People are not going to tolerate it anymore. Times are changing. We're not going to tolerate, you know, persecution of any wildlife. It's wrong. And, you know, our children, well, my grandchildren's children, because I'm getting on a bit now, they're not going to see any of it if we don't fight for it. So I'm proud to stand here today and support Terry, who's worked jolly hard for the raptors in this area and got very little thanks for it and been treated, in my opinion, disgracefully. You know, why is it that people don't like people like us who stand up for what we believe in? Do we care if they like us or not? No. We will keep fighting. You know, I've upset loads of people in my area. I live very close to a large shooting estate. That doesn't worry me. The old Duke of Marlborough, you know, he's got to get his cannabis money from somewhere, good heavens. I can say that up here, you see, I couldn't say that. You know, my local hunt hate me. Do I care? No. They made a very big mistake. They got one of these to try and get round the loophole of hunting. Well, I jolly well told them what I thought of them, and I paid them a visit, and I told them straight. They haven't got the eagle owl anymore. Sadly, I think it didn't last long because they didn't know how to look after it. But this is what happens. This is a bit of a swear word, actually. Countryside alliance. Wash my mouth over soap. They are supposed to be for all things country. Yet as soon as the hunting ban came in, they turned their back on the falconry fraternity and encouraged the hunt to get birds of prey. Now, how hypocritical is that? And these people didn't know how to look after these birds. And when I said to my local hunt, how many foxes has your eagle owl caught? Well, they couldn't tell me. Because obviously it hadn't caught any. But it was stressed out dreadfully. And when I got a film from one of the hunt monitors showing, well, he was the knacker man, actually. Am I allowed to say that, Terry? Sitting in the back of a pickup, an open pickup, with the eagle owl sat on his glove going at 60 miles an hour. And I rang the master of the foxhounds up, who said, I'm very busy and I'm in a meeting. I said, I couldn't care less. And he said, well, we have guidelines. I said, well, can you send them to me? He said, you can download them off the internet. I said, I haven't got time. I'm busy trying to save things, not kill things. And I said, could you send them to me? And he said, yes, I'll send them to you. I said, well, could you just answer a question for me? Could you please tell me whereabouts in those guidelines it says it's perfectly acceptable to travel an eagle owl on a fist in the back of a pickup, at 60 miles an hour? And he said, oh, of course it doesn't say that. And I said, well, why are my local hunt doing it? It's just wrong. We should respect these creatures. We don't want our hen harriers to disappear, but they are disappearing because the law doesn't help. There are laws. Barn owls are protected, all raptors are protected, yet on the moors they're shooting little owls, short-eared owls, long-eared owls. Why? Have you ever seen a little owl carry off a grouse? Have you? Cool, must have been a big one then.
In a dream.
Yeah, I reckon you'd been on the pop that day, Terry. So, please keep fighting for what you believe in. I will fight for these birds until I drop dead, and that will quite likely be before he does, because he's going to outlive me, I know it. He's 27 years old, bless him. Yeah, nearly as old as me. And he came to me as a rescue. Most of my birds are rescues. And this year we've done, I think, 30 rescues. We've just put 4 young tawny owls back in the wild. We've just... What's the matter with you? We've put 4 sparrowhawks back in the wild that I reared from chicks. We've just popped 4 barn owls back in a hack in Avery. And last night we had to go and pick up a red kite, which I didn't think was going to live, but after getting some food down it, and it's quite lively this morning. So we won't tolerate people killing these birds. We want to save them. And that's what it's all about. So, let's all keep fighting for what we believe in and show these people we're not going to put up with it. And thank you very much for listening.
Thanks, Chrissie. And it's an honour to have you here with us today. I know you've had 1 or 2 problems recently. She recently lost her husband, Tom.
Lead poisoning.
Lead poisoning. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for taking the trouble to travel all the way. And you didn't say about the day when we did go up to see the eagle owl. No, I'll tell them. She said, do you think we'll hear it or see it? I said, you wait here. And I started calling it, thinking it wouldn't be anywhere around. And within 5 minutes, it was hooting back to us. Is that true?
Yeah, the female came up and chatted him up. And then what happened?
I think we turned round then and went back.
Started crying.
Yes, she did. She did cry. She did cry. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get on to the art auction. And we've spared no expense. So I'm going to do that today. I think I can handle that. If anybody buys one of the auction or is a successful bidder, go and see my wife Sharon. She'll take your name and everything else. Yeah, that'd be great, Richard.